In this video tutorial, you should have just finished the overview tutorial on this screen. As far as the user interface, we won't be covering that in this screen, but I did add a new thing. This is the Close App button. In case you're on the web, on the cloud, this allows you to close this screen and shut down the application. That's kind of important because we pulled away the menus and options on the browser, and also on FMGO. If you're in FMGO and you want a really quick way to get out of the application, you can click this button and it'll shut down the application and exit it. Okay, let's talk about this screen in detail now. We've covered the overview where we learned about the interface. Let's go ahead and talk about what the purpose of this screen is. The book customer data. For each new customer that you have, you create one screen for this particular client. And each time you create a new screen by hitting the Add Client button, this numeral up here will increase by 1, and that's the ID for that particular client. I pointed out before, if you click on this screen over here, you can see that there will be a scrolling field that can have all of the different clients here. That's supposed to be show, S-H-O-W, but anyhow, you can just click on any one of these, for example, and I can go to Michelle's screen, or I can return to Alex just by clicking it. It now changes back. So let's go ahead and go show it, and it'll go to Alex. Now, one of the things that I'd like to point out is that when you're using this application and you're adding a new client, you want to put as much data as possible as you can about that particular client. It's important to also indicate here, because you can search on any of these fields in this record to put if he's a collector, a reseller, or just a buyer. Just a buyer meaning that it's a one-time or maybe a couple times a buyer. Or if you have a collector, you could have many, many books that this person has purchased over here on the portal. In this case, there's a sample record for this particular person, and this whole thing is a sample record. So you can see how the information is added to the screen. Now understand that this data in here can be edited or overwritten. There's, I think, 3 or 4 total records in the application when it's delivered to you. You can go ahead and have those to overwrite them. Click in, basically, and then change the information in the fields to fit the users that you actually have. And that way you have the first couple of records with an example of how you should be filling them out, and then you, of course, can change it to whatever you need it to be for those individual records. Like I said, if you fill out all the data, it makes your life easier. Plus, you can make notes down here at the bottom about the customer and how you should react to that particular customer. Now, all these fields, including this one, can be used in a find. So if you do a find, you can now find on any word or phrase that's in this field or any of these other fields. And as I pointed out in the overview, make sure that if you're going to search for records in the portal for clients, you can either use the fast way to use the show, or you can jump over here and look at the customer list view, which is this one here, and then it gives you the ability to do a find there or just scroll down and find them in the list view. Let's look at the list view. There are 3 records in there currently, and in this particular case it says book sales because we're looking at the actual book sales for that person. And this is a way to consolidate a lot of information into one field. You can see what I did is I have it on there. And if you click on it on a Windows type machine, it'll show you any information that overfills the actual field, so you can see all the data. In this case, it's got the book that the person bought, the name of the book, the what the book sold at, the ISBN number, and the status. In this case, it says sold. And if they're on this screen, they should all be sold records as far as the purchase of those. Let's go back in and look over here. We've got Alex Bond, and in this particular case for the book that's being sold, it's going to have the information. Book sales are the entity that really covers a lot of material. We're going to be covering that in a separate video, but right now I'm going to go back over here and show you the sales again. And what I want to point out is each time that you go ahead and add a new book in this row, that means you're selling that book. And the way it works, you come up here and you click on this and it pops up and it gives you a list of all the books that are in inventory. And you can see here that it is for each book that was added to inventory, they're in sequential order by their book ID. And this is the book ID for B1 through the number of books that you have in your inventory. So it makes it very simple to find the books. One of the things I talked about in the Dewey Decimal System in the detail page on the iTunes Store, that a system should be available so that each book that you work with should have an easy to identify piece of information. You do not want to change the book ID over in this field because it'll automatically be created when you add the book to your inventory, and you shouldn't be changing it. I can't lock the field, so you can not change it, because then it wouldn't work where you could select the book for the sale. So for example, if I clicked in the next row and I wanted book digest number 4, I would click in here to add that book to this particular buyer. Now understand that each time you add a book in the inventory, it's a one-time sale for that particular book. So if you're going to add a number of books, you would have to do another entry. Say like you had a book test entry and you added it several times. Each time you would add it, it would have an additional number added to it, like B6, B7, and so forth. But when you're looking at these, you want to make them as descriptive as possible so you can find the book that's in the inventory, but not make it so large that it overflows the field for the data in here. I gave you enough room for the book to make it pretty easy to put quite a number in there. And of course, as you sell it, you should be going in there and adding the sold. There's a pop-up menu where you can edit it from here. And you can also, if you push this up, you can see where you can edit the value list and add additional things if you need to add them. In this case, I'm going to cancel. But if you add it in that area, you're going to want to probably change, well, you don't want to add 2 of the same things. As when I say change them, you do not want to say, for example, donated to John Smith's club or whatever. Just have one that says donated. You can always put a narrative in there that says why and what for. The next one is the ISBN number. And the ISBN number is something that comes from the book inventory, and all this information as you add the book will automatically be added to this record so that you can move on to the books in stock. And I'm going to just jump over there shortly again like I did before. Books in stock is for the one in the record that you just looked at. You can also, when you come to this screen, if you're looking for a specific book, you can go ahead either by doing it, do action, starting a find, and then you can use either the book ID or the name or whatever information that is on the screen. Like you might want to check by venues for certain books, and also that kind of information down here for the book data is at the bottom, so you can go ahead and also use that to find things. And then comments, you can also search on the comments. In addition to that, you should always have the access to a picture for the book cover added to your screens. You can get that from a website by using the ISBN number or the title or the author. And we'll talk about that more often when we get back to that location in that area. Let's just pop up to this and show you that books in stock is where you add the books into the inventory. We'll come back and talk about this in a separate video. I want to cover all the numerics and everything that are in here and the information that is provided. Okay, let's go back over to the customer screen and recap. You need to add a new record by hitting Add Client and then add their information. You only do this one time. You should not have to redo that ever again once you've added them. You can edit this if you want to because the address may change, or their nature of what they do by type. They may become a collector or a reseller and they're buying from you. And if you have a web ID for them, you can use that to go ahead and access their website if they have one. Okay, now that we've covered pretty much everything, if you have any need to get more help, I want to point out, as I did in the last video, if you fill in any data in here, it will pop up a new record and a new record for each time you add any kind of data into that record for the field below it in a portal. Portals, as I'll recap, you can hunt for something in a portal, but you have to understand that it may not produce the kind of things you want to actually see. So always use the portal record in order to find that information when you're searching for an individual record. This is an individual record. Going to the portal and doing the find in the portal will allow you to find the information that you're really looking for. Okay, so that pretty much covers everything as far as that screen is concerned on customer sales. And if you need more assistance, you can always pop over to the Do Action button, go down and click on Support Site, and then start a chat with us to get any answers that you need. Thank you.